September 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Middleton Zoning Board of Appeals. There's a few items on the agenda tonight. The first one's going to be the reorganization of the board. I was going to nominate Rich Benevento to be the new chair and Ann Cody to serve as clerk again for the remainder of the year. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a vote?
Do I vote?
Mhm.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I will abstain from part of that motion relative to myself,
5.
but vote yes
I'm just
for
moving your
Ann.
briefcase so I don't.
Yes. The gavel is yours, Mr. Chairman.
And
I'm the.
thank you, former Chairman Hartwell, for that, and thank you for your leadership over the last year. Certainly have big shoes to fill. I hope I can
Hear,
live up
hear.
to that. But thank you for your confidence and the confidence of the rest of the board, so thank you very much. Okay, next item on our agenda are the minutes of August 26th, 2021. Are there any edits, deletions, changes, questions, comments relative to the minutes of August 26th? Anyone have any questions or comments? No?
I'll abstain because I wasn't here, but.
Okay.
Before you were.
Okay.
They look fine when I look at
You
them.
were.
No
Right.
no comments.
I do have one edit, right on adjournment. It said Mr. Benevento motioned to adjourn. I was acting chair that night, so I accepted a motion to adjourn.
Wow.
As the chair, I cannot make a motion, I can accept one. So that would be the only change. Katrina, do we need others here, or is,
No, in fact, the Attorney General has said that even if you're not at a meeting, you can vote on the minutes. However, you can abstain if you want to, but all you need is 3.
why don't we table them till our next meeting, if that's okay?
All you need is 3.
Yeah, we got 3.
Oh, we have 3, okay, right, okay. So, all right, so I'll accept the motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make
of-
a motion.
Motion made by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Yep.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. All right. Continued public hearing, 108 South Main Street, site plan special permit modification to allow a fenced area for dogs at the rear of the building. Marmaduke's K9 Daycare. Linda Sampson, permit number 1125. Do we have someone here? Okay, you're on.
Linda Sampson. What we'd like to do is just put in a little fenced in area in the rear. It's between the bushes, or like trees are in the back there, and then our building is right there. Be able to have the dogs go out, not a whole bunch at once, just like 3 or 4 at a time. Just let them go out, run around, get some air, and in the wintertime, just have them play in the snow, whatever they want to do, and then bring them back in. There will be no top on it, no cover. I just want it open, so it'll be good. There's no door on it. For anyone that's not an employee to get into it and play in there, or to bring their own dog for their own personal use, there'd be no door at all. It's only for our use only. We feel it's a good area for them. It's actually a good shady spot in the summertime. So I wouldn't need a top or any of that. We're gonna keep it clean, make sure it's cleaned every night. And hopefully, it'll work out good.
Well, you actually answered a couple of my questions. How many dogs outside? So you said 3 or 4 at a time?
3 or 4 at a time. We don't want a whole mess out there. We want at least some room so everybody can either play or do whatever they want.
Okay.
Inside, we actually have 3 sections that we keep. Some dogs get along, some do not, so we kind of keep them separated. So it'll be room 1 first, then room 2, and then room 3 will go out and have their play.
And how high is the fence?
It'll be a 6-foot fence.
6 foot, okay. So unless it's a greyhound, probably can't jump over that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And are the dogs supervised? Are they just out there by themselves?
Yes, there will be someone outside all the time.
So
Always have
how
to.
many dogs per person outside? Well, if you only have 3 or 4 dogs, that would be 1 person outside? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how long did you say the dogs are outside?
It would depend on them. I'm out there 15, 20 minutes with them.
Not all day?
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Um,
Just enough to get some air and kind of play, or,
Okay,
And then if it's snowing in the wintertime, they can play in the snow. We can throw snowballs around for them or whatever, but then just get them back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
and what kind of dogs typically do you have at your facility? Are they big dogs, are they little dogs, are they all kind of
We have a
dogs? I mean,
mix.
I had a Jack Russell Terrier, and they told him he couldn't come to doggy school anymore, so, it's like, go figure.
No, we have a mix. We actually have a little child that's in with the big dogs. He thinks he's a big dog and he likes it, and
Yeah.
the bigger ones kind of play with him, and,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's go to the members. Bill, any questions or comments?
No, I think we talked about it last meeting. No comments really from the board, so.
Okay. Ann? Nothing? Craig, any questions? Ann?
How close are we to the Wennerberg Road people? Do you have a blowout map? I
No,
think
it's
I missed
behind the,
that
bu-
last
it's
time.
behind the building.
I could go to Google Maps.
Wait,
I
I'm
also
sorry.
want to remind you, you haven't really opened the public hearing and read the public hearing notice and read the comments from departments yet.
Actually, Katrina, you have it on here, I see it. I can
Mhm.
blow it up here. I got it.
Oh, you can see
Yeah,
it?
never mind, yep.
Okay.
And the thing you sent, I just was able
Oh,
to
the
make it
staff
bigger.
report, right.
Didn't we open it? I thought we opened it
So,
last meeting.
did we hear from the neighbors on this, or not?
No.
No?
So the abutting properties around where the dogs would be out, is that residential?
No.
No, it's Richardson.
I have a condo association, which is fine with it.
Okay.
That's with,
So these houses on Wennerberg here, 52, 51, those are not, looks to me like they're right next to it.
So you can see Richardson's farm is in between the lot, the condo association, and those houses. Are you looking at the staff report picture?
Yeah, this one here? Were these houses here?
Right, so you can see Richardson's farm is
yeah, we have a bunch
behind.
of cows out
Here?
there.
Right, now point to where the doggy daycare
Is
is.
that here?
Nope,
No.
further down.
It's here?
Nope, further
All the way
down.
down.
It's off the
That little
screen.
building that's in the corner there,
Right
on the
here.
bottom.
And that big, huge
Oh,
building
there it
that,
is, okay, yeah. I
Big
got
white
it.
building.
Yeah.
So this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I got it, okay, got it.
Uh,
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense, okay.
Yeah, that
Do we
depends
have to
what kind
open,
of-
we don't, do we have to open this?
I thought we were
Yeah,
open.
you haven't opened it yet.
Oh, I didn't
Remember, we
know.
just continued it at the last meeting because we didn't have a quorum.
Oh, that's right. So we have to
Only out
re-
of
You have to read
Board
the
again,
ad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's right. You were in and out the last time.
Yes.
All right. Ann, could you read the?
Well, I have to find it first.
It's, can you read it from over there?
No. Oh, yeah, I can, I think I can. Do we have that on here?
I can make it bigger.
Or do we have it on the,
Oh, yeah, so you have it in your Google Drive,
that's what I'm looking
this whole application.
Stuff from now on. Out of my office.
All right, now I can read it. If you make it a little bigger, Katrina, I can read it.
I can't.
Oh, my
look at that.
God, you're so fancy.
oh, that is very funny.
Oh, my God. That was crazy.
I couldn't do it with my
Read that from
computer.
128.
All right, sorry. Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at 7 PM on August 26th at Fuller Meadow on the application of Linda Sampson for a special permit site plan modification to add an outdoor fenced area for the dogs at 108 South Main Street. Property found in Assessor's Map 29A, parcel 186A. Plans are on file with the town clerk. We must have comments, I'm guessing.
Yes,
Okay. And the abutters, I hope, have been notified.
they have been.
Okay.
Okay.
No, hold on. Let's see if we have comments.
So
Yep, go ahead, just.
you
scroll.
do have these in your,
I know, I gotta look for them. Hold on, let me see if I can find them.
and it's listed 3A, under 3A, 108 South Main.
3A1, okay. I didn't find it. All right, I'll just
Yeah.
go off of that for now, I don't see
You have to
it.
get out and you have to go back into the 3A 108 South Main. You have to get out of the, department report.
Well, Ann's gonna read them, so I don't need to go there.
Okay, so from the fire department, they have no issues. From Paul Goodwin, who's the Board of Health, right?
DPW.
BPW, sorry. Good on their end. Keep going, anybody else?
Uh,
Board of Health.
yeah.
Fenced-in area, if allowed, will need proper height and construction to contain dogs. Recommend approval with condition of not creating a public nuisance from either excessive noise or barking and odor, proper dog waste pickup, containment, storage, or disposal. And that's from the Board of Health. And from, who else? Anyone else? Kenny?
Oh, are you reading that?
No, I'm looking at yours. Meld has no issue.
Yep, and then we have planning board.
Planning Board held a meeting on August 11th, 2021. Members voted unanimously, voted to make a positive recommendation to the zoning board on application of Marmaduke's Canine Daycare to permit the creation of a fenced-in area for the dogs in the rear of the building.
And that's it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here from the public that has any comments or questions on this? Okay, hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board? Someone want to make a motion? I guess the first motion is,
the findings. Is the site plan and then the special
site
permit.
right.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Greg?
Craig?
I'm just reading it over, hold on.
So I did include in the staff report these
Yep.
little templates that you can use to create the motion for making all the findings. And I can hand these out if you want, and you can just kind of go through.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll just hand those down. I've got some more.
Excellent, thank you.
So since this is a special permit, those findings right at the top, all you need to do is say what community needs are served. Is the traffic and pedestrian flow affected or not? Are there
Okay.
utilities? So, and so on.
Craig, did you want to move on this? You want me to?
All you?
Okay. All right, so I will accept the motion that we grant the special permit, that any adverse effects of the proposal will not outweigh the beneficial impacts to the town because of the following criteria. Meets community needs which are served by the proposal. Traffic and pedestrian flow, including parking and loading, will not be affected. Adequacy of utilities and public services are in place. Meets with the character of the zone and neighborhood, and has no impacts on the natural environment, and that the potential and economic and fiscal impacts, including impacts to town services, tax base, and employment, are positive. Someone want to move that?
I'll move that.
So moved by Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill. Any additional discussion?
I think we want a condition to include Mr. Fullerton's recommendation.
We'll do that next.
Okay.
Yep, we'll do that in part of the site plan. Okay. So motion made and second, no additional discussion. All those in favor say aye. Any
Yep.
opposed? So moved. Okay. Site plan.
So usually you vote on the findings, and you vote to accept them, then you vote to issue the special permit, and that's when you can attach the conditions
Okay. All right, so we just voted on the findings?
on the findings, and now
Okay.
you vote to issue the special permit with conditions.
Okay, so I'll accept the motion that we issue the special permit with the following conditions. That the outside use for dogs not be a nuisance, and that the town reserves the right to rescind outdoor use if the dogs are a nuisance, through barking or noise.
Or odor.
Sorry?
Odor.
Odor. Stink.
Odor.
Smell.
Oh, no, well, I didn't get there yet.
Okay.
That the outside facility for dogs be cleaned up daily, that dog waste not be there. At the end of the day, it has to be cleaned up. Anything else? Do you have anything, Bill?
That's it.
Ann?
No.
Nope.
Ann?
That sounds good.
Craig?
Fence has to be no less than 6 feet tall and made of solid white vinyl.
Okay,
And no dogs should be leashed or unleashed outside of the fenced-in area.
okay. Any additional conditions? Okay.
I'll second.
No, you have to accept that
I'll
motion.
accept that motion, sure.
I'll move it.
I thought you moved it.
No.
Oh, so moved. So
I'm
moved.
waiting for you to accept it.
So
There we go.
moved.
All
So
right, do I
moved.
have a second?
Let's move this along.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ann. Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All right. Good luck.
You're good.
I think that's it.
Site plan approval.
So
Oh,
Site-
wait.
Bill
Stop.
motioned it and you seconded.
Yep, correct.
And Katrina, we still have site plan?
Yes.
Usually, yeah, you can do it that way if you want.
Okay.
I don't think we have to, though, do we?
I thought it was just a special permit.
It's a special permit,
So
so.
I thought it was
if
just
you
special
read,
part of the
if you
special
read the
permit.
bylaw, if you have a special permit, the site plan is kind of
Rolled into it.
encompassed by it. So I've always viewed that you could just vote on the special permit. You vote on the site plan separately if it's just a site plan, but you can do it any way you want.
I think that's the way to do it. So I think we're done on that one.
Are you okay with that, Craig? Yeah. All right.
Good?
Enjoy.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next up, this is new public hearings. 15 Sharpners Pond Road, Kenworth of Southeast New England, site plan modification. Ann, would you read the legal ad,
Can you
please?
put that up, Katrina, a little bigger? Still can't find it.
It's weird that I have an easier time using the board.
Yeah, just make it bigger, I can read it. Magic fingers. That's good.
Wow. This is what they do on TV, you know?
Yes, I know. The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing 7 PM Thursday, September 23rd, 2021 at Fuller Pond on the application of Kenworth of Southeast New England, Inc. for permits necessary to modify the existing site plan and special permit by adding 2 additional truck storage units, reducing the size of the proposed building, redesigning the loading dock and traffic circulation on the property, located at 15 Sharpners Pond Road on Assessor's Map 9, Parcel 24, 36, 37. Plans on file at the town clerk. And I'm sure the abutters have been notified,
Yes, they are.
and comments are later. There we go.
Just show you too, if you do want to use this, it's so easy because you could go right down to these site plans.
I want that for my TV.
This is a huge filing.
Probably. You can
I'm sure
probably,
they got it
yeah,
now.
I'm sure.
It's pricey, though.
Tax dollars hard at work.
This is supposed to
So is my wife's TV, my
I
eyesight's
know.
going, I just keep getting it bigger and bigger and bigger.
Those are
Now
them.
it's that size.
So it's not just me, right? There you go.
Do you have a plan, Jill?
I do.
Why don't you want to just hold it up? and-
Do you mind? And I apologize, I didn't bring an easel, I don't know what I was thinking. Paul's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna come closer.
Okay.
So,
So, name for the record?
so Jill Leanne here on behalf of Kenworth, New England. The applicant in connection with a request to modify an existing site plan as well as an existing special permit. So we were before you, this building's been before you so many times. So originally, we were before you in 2018 and had the building approved. Then we came back in 2021 when Kenworth actually entered into an agreement with NOMID, which is the owner of the industrial park, to develop Building E. So Building E, the changes are because the proponent, Kenworth, it wants to make this building a single-purpose building. Originally, it was a 44,000 square foot building. Originally, it was 60,000, we reduced to 44,000, and then Kenworth asked Eric DeGrazia from NOMID if he would consider making it a single-purpose building, which meant just Kenworth is in there. So the change is basically to bring it down to a 33,000 square foot building. the reason we're before you, and I realize that the site plan approval requirements would allow Mr. Fitzpatrick to approve the changes, just taking away the building and expanding parking, but the reason we're before you is because Kenworth is pretty excited about the fact that it's going to be a single-purpose building, so they wanted to increase their outdoor storage area, which immediately triggered site plan approval and special permit, which is why I'm here. So what I'd like to show you is what I had done was, I didn't realize I could have done this on electronically, and I would have, and again, I apologize for that. So what I did was I just took the prior plan and the new plan, and I modified them. So basically, this is the, I'm having the word weird this time. You can see it? Okay, so this is the approved plan with the entire property. Here are the changes. So all we were doing was changing an area that had 14 parking spaces, making it only 11, and making it storage. And I'm gonna explain why the storage. The only reason I'm gonna explain is I know everybody on the board was here, but Mr. Renault was not, so I'm gonna explain that aspect. So we're changing parking spaces to storage spaces there. And then in the back, where the building had been, we're reducing the scope of the building. The parking on the side stayed. We increased it by 2 spaces because we're changing it to a single purpose, and we could. And then we're adding storage parking in the back. And again, that's what's triggering this. And then we do have a change in the loading dock. Before, the loading docks were behind the building. So you had to drive behind and you came straight into the building. And now they're on the side of the building, which is right here. So that's what you have in your plan. So they come in this way instead of coming around, backing in, coming around, backing in. It's a far preferable a way to access it. So Mr. Arnold, if I may, this particular company is a large, heavy vehicle dealership. So they work, they're PACCAR. That's who they, that's their franchisor. So the reason why I have to identify the storage spaces is even though it's simply parking of vehicles, it's overnight parking, and in my mind, that still triggered storage. So we went for the storage, outdoor storage for those spaces where it wasn't gonna be, you know, parking in, parking out. So in my mind, even if those spaces were only occupied for a day, a week, they still needed to be deemed to be outdoor storage, and that's why. So the areas that are shown already to be storage were all of these other areas. We had storage. But the only place that we're adding is here and here. And I'll explain that the reason for that is you think it's odd. It's an awful lot of storage for one business, but because they've actually expanded the scope of their lease, extended the term, and now they're the only participant, they literally are simply providing for future growth. So my obligation now, if this board chooses to approve the changes, is to go back to the licensing board, which is the select board, and ask for a modification to my dealer license to allow those spaces, because they will have vehicles that are sold. Predominantly, we don't sell on the lot. You don't have a lot of these huge vehicles. They come, they pull in, and for example, when we sell to Market Basket, we'll sell 20 vehicles at a time to them, and that's really the way it is. You order, they ship, and then they go out. So those are all of the changes with regard to Kenworth. We would aver that the changes are actually an improvement to the circulation. So by reducing the size of the building, it's more free traffic. By eliminating a competing use, now you have no competitive uses. And that's really the only change. But I will offer, and I apologize for not having more copies, but Kristen Kent did issue, through the chair, just a letter saying, you know, we're close to the wetland. So she just issued a letter basically saying that this particular set of changes was approved by the Conservation Commission as constituting a minor change to what had been approved previously. And then you can just see, we gave you all kinds of renderings. We had them, and we need them anyway when we do our construction drawings, so I think they're useful. I think that, I love this, Katrina. Did I do it?
You did. That's it.
Yeah, and now you can go over to it and you can make it bigger or smaller.
Oh dear Lord, this is
Isn't
fun.
that awesome?
So this is the better, and I'll get out of your way so everybody can see it. That's the better vision, because that gives you the whole scope of the project. This is a great plan. You know, Chris Barajas does them, but he does them on separate sheets, you know what I mean? I don't know if you had a hard time looking at them, but I had a hell of a time looking at them. I had to cut them out and paste them. So this one I asked them to do, and I think it's far easier to read.
So a couple questions.
Please.
So the building's going from 40,000 square feet, is that right? To
44?
To 33?
Yes, correct.
And in we're just eliminating the indoor capacity for the trucks? We're not increasing office space or any of that?
Nothing. All we did was lop off that 11,000.
Okay, and again, why are we putting them outside now versus inside? 'Cause
Oh,
it's-
I apologize. Nope, not into, that 11,000 was to go to a second tenant. A different, Mr. DeGracia was going to retain ownership over that 11,000 square feet.
Okay.
So that space was going to be for some sort of contractor use, some sort of, machine shop, whatever he was going to rent to. So it was
So
never
this will all be Kenworth now?
100% correct.
Okay, and I did read some of the additional information. So these trucks come in on piggyback, there's usually three
Yes.
on a yard donkey that's gonna pull them in, and they're delivered, and it's short-term, is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
So typically, they get their orders, they come, and honestly, what I was told is 50% to 60% don't even come to the site. They're sold here, which is good for Middleton, but they don't even come here.
and I also note that there's 5 spaces for actual trailers.
Yes, I apologize, are you talking about
Upper left.
these things,
Yep.
right?
Those are 4 trailers, they
Yes.
have a concrete pad for the trailer stand.
You're trying to
Yes, I better not touch anything.
And
cancel.
I'm presuming, do we know the size of those trailers?
They're just, the only
They
reason they
63s
show like
or what are
that
they?
is you have to make them, they can't be bituminous, so they're concrete pads.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for
when-
the trailer stand, but
Yeah, so-
how long are the trailers?
Oh, they
Are
can
they
be big
63s
trailers.
or?
So, the big ones, like the tractor trailer, so say you have an issue and something goes wrong and it has to be towed because you have a PACCAR or a Kenworth cab, you bring the cab in, you drop your trailer, and then you go in and get it fixed. So that's what that's for emergencies, when people have issues, because we don't sell the trailers.
So do you ever expect that there'd be more than 5 trailers there?
Thank you.
It would be unusual to see any there.
Okay, and did Mr. Sparagus put turning templates on? I know last time we came in, I may have asked that, I can't recall his answer. But did he put turning templates on this, and not even so much this, the access to the public way,
Yep.
that's actually in North Andover?
Yes, Sharpners Pond comes in. off
Sharpness
of-
Pond, so,
It wasn't even
You know,
I guess, do we care about that whether these trucks are crossing the double yellow center line when they're exiting or anything
It's
like
a,
that?
I mean, it's a big, he did do the turning radius when we did the 2018, which was a 60,000 square foot building. And then when we reduced, I honestly don't recall if we did it, because we reduced. But I know he actually, you know what? He did do the turning radius, because I asked him to, for this vantage point, this Benevento, to come in here, because we still have an outdoor storage here, so he needed to prove to the landlord, that the landlord could still get back there. So yes, he did conduct one.
Okay. Let me go to the members. I did have a question just in terms of, do these facilities require, in terms of the drainage system, like oil, gas separators and stuff, because it's trucks and they have large amounts of diesel fuel in the tanks and that sort of thing. But I'll defer to my colleague to my left here, and we'll go to Bill.
Yep.
Do you have any questions, Bill?
No, so basically everything's staying within the same site footprint. So, I mean, I'm assuming the drainage system was already approved as part of the original one, so that should all be,
And that's what Kristen
yep,
said.
yep, so
Kristen
that would have
Kent.
all been covered back then. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely an improvement to what was originally proposed, so this is definitely a positive thing.
Okay. How about you, Ann? Any questions,
No, I have no
comments?
issues. It's in the right part of town. It's good business for the town. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Craig?
I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Ann?
I've got comments, if you want me to read them.
Okay.
From the Concom, Kristen Kent, the Conservation Commission approved this project at their September meeting. Stormwater management system is sufficiently sized to accommodate the change. From Tom Martinuck, Fire Chief, they're all set. From Kenny Rollins, DPW, Meld has been from Meld. Meld has been in contact with Mr. DeGracia over the electrical service. I don't know what that means.
We have to get the transformers, and because it's such a long delay, it's something like, Ms. Benevento and Mr. Renault probably know better than I, but like somewhere between 26 and 52 weeks for a transformer. So they have been in contact.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. for the
And there's a
comments.
planning board one too, I think.
Yeah, we had a recommendation from them from August 11th.
Oh,
I
got
saw
it,
that.
right here. September 8th meeting of the planning board members unanimously voted to make a positive recommendation to the zoning board on the application from Kenworth, Southeast New England, to modify the special permit and site plan approval issued on March 25th, 2021 by reducing the size of the approved building, adding 2 additional outdoor equipment and truck storage areas, and expanding the parking area layout. And that's from the planning board. And that is it,
Okay.
as far as I can
And would
see.
you like me to answer the question about the, so absolutely they have to. So the plumbing code requires, because they have all of these overhead doors, there are drains that that have vents, so every single solitary internal drain goes to a tight tank, and that's the way it is. They can't go to our storm because we only have septic.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Is there anyone here from the public that has any questions or comments on this? Okay, hearing none. All right then, I will accept a motion that we accept the following findings under section 9.4.2. 1, the community needs which are served by the proposal. Traffic and pedestrian flow and safety, including parking and loading, are adequate. Utilities and other public services are adequate. Fits with the neighborhood character and zone. That impacts on the natural environment are none. And that the potential impact and fiscal impact, including impacts to town services, tax base, and employment, are positive.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right. I will accept the motion that we issue the special permit for this filing. And I don't think we have any additional conditions on the
Didn't
special
have any
permit.
conditions, no.
Huh?
Nope, no conditions.
We have old
You do say it incorporates completely all of the prior.
Yeah, right.
There's a bunch of new prior decisions.
All right, so I will accept the motion that we grant a special permit with all of the original conditions as part of the original approval remain in full force and effect.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Motion made and second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Katrina, is this the same as before, or does this require a site plan approval on
I
this one,
think you
right?
need to because of the site, the expansion, and because that's how the Board of Selectmen actually issue the license based on your site plan approval, not on a special permit. That's why, because they'll take your plan that you've approved. So
Okay,
it's a little different.
So we are going to have to, I'll accept the motion that we approve the site plan based on the revised plans submitted by the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you. And obviously, that was conditioned upon all those other conditions from the site plan being incorporated. I
Okay.
heard that.
I think we're good. All right, all right. Parking and traffic commission's way easier.
Can't even tell who's saying it. It's great. It's great.
love it.
I like this. We're gonna
All right.
keep this going.
New or other business? We have 5 Riverview Avenue, special permit extension request, Christopher Dale, am I saying that right? Is someone here for that?
I don't think anyone's here for that.
All right.
Um,
Do we want to maybe take 15 Sharpners Pond Road, Building G, out of order, just to move that along, because the folks are here, so.
All right, why don't we do that? We'll go to item B, 15 Sharpness Pond Road, Building G, AGP LLC, request for minor modification. Is there someone here for that?
Hello, Joanne here on behalf of AGP. I'm here this evening as a minor modification, which does not require the typical notices and is simply something that this board needs to review, determine whether or not it agrees, and then issue yea or nay the request. So on behalf of AGP, we're here to simply request that we can put a canopy over an outdoor storage area. Obviously, when Mr. Duria, who was the owner of AGP Gas, came to Middleton, he rented the whole thing and was fine. But he went to use the back area, and it is so exposed to the sun, and there's just so many elemental features that he wanted to put up some sort of a canopy to just protect the back in certain of the storage areas from the weather and from the sun. So what he was seeking to do is just cover 2 of the existing outdoor storage areas. It's not, they're pads. So this whole area had always been approved by, as outdoor storage. To give you history, this property's been around since the 1970s. So somewhere around 1983, it was approved as outdoor storage. It's morphed so many times. I think Craig was actually on the board, and I know Ann was when it was a basketball facility. Then it changed to, a pool distributor. Then it changed to, it's been very many machinations, and the last machination did have it as an outdoor storage area as well. So now AGP is in place. They have these concrete pads in the back, and this one concrete pad, it wants to put that canopy over, and the one concrete pad here, he wants to put a canopy over. All of these canopies are way more than the dimensional requirements. It has gone through Mr. Fitzpatrick. Mr. Fitzpatrick felt as though it was a minor modification, but he is not able to make that decision, only this board is. So he asked me to apply to provide you with all of the, if you will, pictures and the renderings. So it is going to be a full supported canopy, which triggers structure, which means he needs a permit, and he needs to show it on a site plan. There you go. Thank you, Katrina.
And I may have missed something, Attorney Mann. So the purpose of the canopy is what?
Just to stop the sun from beating down on the products he stores on that pad and from the other pad, and when his employees go out there so they don't get soaking wet when they're doing certain things, because this is a gas distribution company, so they have to go out to fill up tanks to be distributed, so they want to be able to have certain areas covered. I mean, the whole back area is used as storage, but those are the areas they're looking to put a canopy on.
And is this structure, I'm presuming it was designed by somebody? Is there a structural engineer stamped it?
Yeah, you have it, yes, you're 100% right. The only reason we're here is because Scott wouldn't sign the building permit because we needed to come to you because it wasn't shown a canopy. While those areas, those concrete things may have been shown, the canopy wasn't shown. And he didn't feel comfortable without the board understanding that that was going to also be reflected on the site plan. So that's why we're here, but it's non-habitable, it doesn't change the storm, it doesn't expand the outdoor storage area.
Make sure it's not gonna fall down or
It-
snow
oh,
load collapses.
no.
or-
And-
Scott is reviewing it, and it's been, I assume it's been stamped by a structural
It had to
engineer.
be, because you have to, but I think that it's almost.
That's a
you have
pretty
those
intense
what's
structure.
Wind load.
Wind,
thank you.
snow,
So
yeah.
that's the biggest, the wind and the snow are the biggest issues. So the reason also, he had to get a building permit, you have to go down 4 feet, you have to actually do the frost wall, it's a full, I mean, he has to do work to put in that. But it doesn't, it's still on impervious area, it's still within the storage area, but you have to make sure it's safe. And that's all, Scott.
So,
We will defer to the building department
Yeah.
to ensure that it's meeting proper building code.
so can I ask a question?
Sure.
Could it ever be enclosed? Because that is the frame of a
You got it.
simple building, half of
It
which
cannot be
are in this
enclosed.
town.
And Eric DeGrazia has made it abundantly clear that it cannot be
Okay.
enclosed.
Can also condition.
So the sole purpose of
Yeah,
that
I
is
think
a
that needs to be a
canopy.
condition, because
Yes,
that
I
is,
agree.
that's ready to go.
Definitely.
Without a doubt,
That's
you
a
should.
BJ's, ready to go. I mean,
No, you
Also the-
absolutely
well, it's not
should.
that big, but
I was gonna
that's
say
how
it's a
they're built,
pretty
because
small-
I've built
Small
them.
VJs, but yeah.
But you should absolutely condition it because
Yeah.
there is no intent by the landowner who gives permission for this
Yeah,
to
okay,
have that happen, nor is it Scott's intent.
okay.
Okay.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, I'm sorry.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the members? Bill?
None.
Ann?
Nope.
Ann?
There are some conditions here that were offered up that we may want to include about canopies not increasing the water impact, storm management. There's a whole list here. I don't know if we want to include that or not.
Okay, well, when it's time for the motion, why don't we add, you
Take a
can
look at it.
dictate those?
Yeah. if you
Okay.
want.
Craig, anything from you? Okay. Is there anyone, do we have any other staff report or
We need some
anything?
wording on how not to
We
close
don't,
that.
this is
Thank you.
this is a minor modification? So, yes, so this is a minor modification. It would only be an
Okay, that's
application
fine.
that I would ask for
All right.
comments.
Anyone here from the public wish to comment on this? All right, hearing none. I will accept a motion that we accept the minor modification based on the proposed changes to the site plan. Katrina, you have two things right here. You have vote that the proposed changes to the site plan for Building G located at 15 Sharpners Pond Road is a minor modification. So I'll accept that motion that this is, in fact, a minor modification.
So moved.
Due to the fact that the addition of the canopy will not increase or decrease any surface water impacts, the stormwater management system will not be impacted or affected. The parking areas and flow of traffic for Building G are not modified, and therefore the pedestrian vehicular traffic will remain unaffected by this change. There's no additional impervious areas being added to the property. The size of the outdoor storage area will remain the same. The canopies are set behind Building G and are not visible for any public ways or abutting properties. The canopy must comply with all setback requirements, and the areas beneath the canopies must remain exposed on all four sides and remain, and are not to be temperature controlled. The addition of these canopies will not alter or expand any additional outdoor storage areas.
Thank you. That was it.
And
Yeah.
that also included the can't be enclosed someplace.
That's
I
what
thought
he
I heard
said.
that right.
He
Yeah, okay.
changed that, yeah,
Okay,
that's
very good. Is that your motion, Greg?
That's it.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. All right. Was that it on this? Because you had two things here.
Yeah, you have to now accept the modification.
Yeah, that's right, okay. Vote to approve the minor modification. I'll accept the motion that we vote to approve the minor modification,
Subject to all conditions of prior.
subject to the conditions stated
In that prior decision and in all prior decisions.
in that prior decision and all prior decisions.
So moved.
So moved. Okay.
And incorporating there with the site plan, Building G, 15 Sharpness Pond Road, Middleton, Mass., Building Assessors Map 9, Lot 24, dated, is it even dated?
So,
The second page, oh, the
We're
first
talking about
page,
this one?
the one that's with the application.
There's a revision date.
July 25th, 2014 is the sketch
That's a
plan.
revision
Yeah,
date
that's what I
on it.
have
That's
here
not right.
too, yeah.
With the revision of,
Too much page.
September 16th, 2021,
Okay. All right.
period.
Do I have a second?
second.
Second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much, appreciate your time, Steve.
right.
And welcome as chair.
Yeah.
And welcome, Bill, and
Hey, happy to be
I've
here.
been here since you. Take care, thank you.
It'll get worse.
Would you say it'll get worse? Is that what you said?
I said it'll get worse.
That's terrible.
Okay, next up is 177 North Main Street, number 607.
Yep.
Request for minor modification to allow an indoor recreational use basketball training facility. Jacqueline Lyons. Do we have someone here for that? Before we get to that, Katrina, do you want to give us a update from council, from town council on
Sure.
this? Please.
So, what happened is, when the applicant was before the board last month, the board imposed a condition on hours. I've heard from the applicant that they didn't understand at the time that this was going to basically limit all their customers. They thought it maybe applied to just the people working in the office or something along those lines. They can't run their business with those hours because kids go to school and they can only come for this training after school. And I guess it goes late at night too, sometimes. So they wanted a revision. Now, the decision had already been filed with the town clerk and stamped by the town clerk. I asked Jay if a change could be made this time without going through the whole process again. And his answer was that it depends upon the impetus for the condition in the first place. If the hours that were the condition was an essential and material component of the reasoning, or if the hours were a concern raised by neighbors, then it definitely requires a hearing. However, if hours were merely a boilerplate item thrown on the decision, I would be comfortable with a modification at a mere meeting. But in any case, we would put it in writing and file it with the town clerk, whatever the board decides. So it's up to the board if they feel comfortable revising that condition for the hours at a meeting without benefit of a public hearing, et cetera.
And the other businesses up there operate beyond 5 PM, is
Yeah.
that right?
This is the first one that I think has a condition for hours.
All right, so everything else operates 24/7,
Right.
and including uses that are probably more intense and less intense, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did we, I don't even recall where we came up with the hours. Where was it? I don't even know why we moved that and included it.
I think it was just a question of, when are you going to be in there? And so it ended up in a condition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched the video to see if
Yep.
there was a lot of talk about it, because I'm like, I don't even remember.
I don't
how.
either, yeah.
It was really just thrown in
Okay.
at the end.
Yeah.
There was no abutters that raised any concerns. Yeah.
And so the change would be that there are no hours?
It's up to the board. If, you might want to have the applicant talk and tell you what they need.
What do you need for hours to operate your business?
I would like to make a minor modification and expand my hours so that I can have unlimited access to the facility, so that I can have flexibility with my private sessions, semi-private sessions, and group training.
So
school,
realistically,
and
what are those hours? Like, how late do you want to work?
24
stuff.
hours a day?
24/7.
And I guess
might
if
have
there are
a
other
call from a
businesses up there
student
that
and say,
operate,
"Hey,
there are other businesses up there that operate 24 hours a day? Is that right? So, I mean, I don't see why we would
Limit.
restrict this use.
I agree.
I mean, we have some uses up there where they're repairing cars and everything else. I mean, bouncing a basketball,
Right.
I don't see as-
Inside, by the way, because we.
And it's inside.
Yeah, we restricted
Right.
no training outside, that's still, there,
Um,
right?
So Katrina, it sounds like we could just amend our condition as opposed to going through
Yes.
hoops.
You basically just finished with a minor modification of adding those storage things, and you viewed that as a minor modification. So I think this would be kind of an easy one to do.
So, all right, so unless the board has any objection, I will accept the motion that we amend our condition and for unrestricted hours of operation versus the, whatever we had to 5 o'clock, 7 to 5, or
We had
whatever
9 to
it was.
5
9 to
before.
5.
I think that, we have the actual vote here, so. You want me to move it? I'll move it. Vote that the proposed changes to the special permit to allow an indoor recreational use in Unit 607 located at 177 North Main Street is a minor modification.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it. Well, but I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
But I don't know if it's for after or if this is the do-all and end-all. Okay, I
Ask
just
it
have a
now.
concern, like, if you wouldn't rent out your place to, say, Masco to have their graduation night party at your facility, and then, with music, and I mean, so it's just for basketball training.
But we have to limit it to that
Well,
use.
we're not touching anything other than the hours. You can't change the use.
Okay, so I guess,
Yeah.
is that something that could happen, that you would have 100 kids, like, partying till 3 AM? I'm just.
I would
being-
think that someone would complain.
That's
and-
what I'm
and then-
thinking.
And that.
But that's not their permitted use. Their permitted use is for a
Okay.
basketball facility, no different than if someone
Okay.
decided to take their garage that they're repairing cars and
And have a party.
party.
Okay, so occupancy is sort of taken care of by
right.
It
this.
is.
Okay, that was my only concern, then I have no issue.
All right,
So do we need to go through Bill's motion, or can we just?
You have a motion and a second. You haven't voted on the minor modification.
Okay, so motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye?
Yep.
Aye. Any opposed?
No,
You say no?
Oh, what's your concern?
Okay.
it's not a minor modification.
Oh, hours are not minor?
No, never.
Oh, really? Okay,
You only enumerated 2 conditions on the entire application.
okay,
One was hours.
yeah.
So now you've changed it without letting the public know that people are gonna be there at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Because
Okay.
if they go check what's on file, at 5:01, they gotta be out,
Yeah, and we're changing that.
We just changed that, though.
without telling the neighbors.
Well,
It's
according to town council, that it can be the board's prerogative that this is in minor in nature, is that what council?
Yeah, and he just has a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Well, the hours were arbitrary to begin with. They didn't really mean anything, but I know we're.
That's
I
kind of
see where-
scary, that's kind of
well,
scary too.
I
that
see where
we
Craig's
put the
coming
most
from, yeah.
restrictive hours of operation on any property in town without thinking about it.
Right, Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, I understand where Craig's coming from too. Was
Mhm.
this on public notice, like when we
No,
advertised it?
minor modifications don't go through the public
Modifications don't go
notice.
through a public notice.
requirement.
Just like the application that was before you, right before this one.
Mhm.
It's a minor modification. You voted to decide whether it was a minor or major. If it was major, they'd have to go back to the drawing board, have a public hearing, et cetera, et cetera. And you're doing the same thing with this one, voting, is it major, minor? And if it's minor, then you vote on it.
I mean, I think I'd be in the same place you are, Craig, had we not had an opinion from town council on this. Like, that's me. I'm one of 5 here.
I mean, I don't, that wasn't really material to the conversation in any way, shape, or form, honestly, at the last
I
meeting,
do
so.
think Craig's right going
But-
forward. I think
Yeah.
we need to do that. I don't think we should have done that, yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's an oversight for what we were looking at, especially when you
Yeah, I
have
agree with
other uses there that have no time restrictions, so, I mean, you know.
He's right
Going
procedurally
forward, if
going
it's
forward.
something different, I totally agree with him. I think in this case, I respectfully disagree.
So how do I know
What's
that they
that?
can operate at 10 o'clock tonight?
How do you know? So
If I'm a
everybody
member
else
of the
up,
public, how are they gonna know that it's okay for them to be there at 10 o'clock at night? Because we have a decision that says they gotta be out of there at
Well,
5.
we just changed our
we just
decision.
changed that
But how does
decision.
that get recorded? Does that go
Yeah,
through
it gets
the
recorded.
registry with the town clerk's office? And
Yeah,
in
it's
what
going to the
form?
town clerk.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going
yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In what form does that go? Like, that's not really a decision.
No, it won't be recorded at the registry of deeds.
So the public has no idea that they have to be out, that they can stay there past 5
No,
o'clock.
we could have them recorded at the registry of deeds. There's no reason why we couldn't
Yeah, yeah.
require that as a condition that this
You
be
can condition, why don't we
recorded.
condition that
That's
as
a good
part
idea.
of
That's a
the?
No,
good
I think that's
What?
awful. Because then we're changing stuff without public notice and then just recording it.
But I guess, I agree if this is a standalone parcel and there's a business that has a change in operation, I 100% agree with you there. But in this case, we're in a larger development that everyone has that there are no operation hours, and I mean, the use here that we're talking about would have been, it's a contractor base, so it would have been much worse. This is a tremendous use and a huge benefit to the town for our youth to use, so that's what we were all talking about at the last meeting, so I definitely do not agree with you on this one.
Okay.
I mean, I think the other thing too was, again, this was probably a bit of an oversight in terms of asking, so what are your hours?
It was our fault,
And then it ended
yeah,
up in a
yeah.
condition.
Yeah, we should have
I-
been clearer.
But I understand what you're saying is like, maybe someone from the public would have had an objection to it. But I think we also have to perhaps maybe look at precedent that every other business up there operates 24 hours a day.
Right.
Why would this one be any different? So,
That's why, I was confused why the condition was put on there to begin with. That's why. to
Exactly. I
take
think
a-
it was
to
a-
take-
That was on us, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that was a
We should have
mistake.
done
that
that.
was a mistake.
That sounds like, I don't recall that being material to the conversation. I don't even recall the conversation about the hours at any point. Do you?
Well, I'm looking back on it
did
here,
have
and there is
fever.
nothing
What's that?
at all.
You did have a fever.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was
had a
still,
fever, that's right.
I was stricken with COVID at the time, so I'll take a mulligan on it, so, for not remembering that.
Yeah, I don't see
Okay.
anything in the discussion here about it.
Okay, so, we now have to, you have a second part to your motion, Mr. Renault?
I have to, yeah, I'll make a motion that we vote to approve the minor modification as presented.
Okay. Do I have a
I'll second it.
Second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Okay. So, motion carries 4-1. I think you're all set.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your time.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So we will be putting this in writing, sending it to the town clerk, and you do or do not want it recorded
Is it what we normally do?
at the registry of deeds
Whatever is
now.
normally done in the course of business. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we usually just
We
put
don't,
it
we
in the
don't dictate
file.
how the clerk handles
Yeah.
town paperwork.
Yeah, we
whatever
usually
she
just
does.
put it in the file.
But concerned this was an oversight on our part. How do we want to handle that?
Truthfully, I think putting it in the file is a safe bet, because if anyone has to enforce the hours, or, it wouldn't even be enforcing, because they can,
Yeah,
they're
there's no
open all
enforcement.
hours. If they come to the town and file a complaint, say a neighbor says, wait, the hours are only 9 to 5, and I looked at the registry of deeds, the complaint would come to the town, and we would go to the files to see what was in there, so.
I think that the paperwork has to reflect the decision of the board this evening, because I think if someone did go there, later on, you know, this person is no longer involved and there's new people there and they don't know what happened with this. So I think the paper trail has to be correct.
So, and what does that mean? It has to be at the registry or in the files?
In the files. like we
Definitely
always
in the
do.
files.
Yeah, it'll be in the files. And it'll be filed to the town clerk. It just won't go to the registry of deeds.
How could it for, you're a condo, correct? You own the building, so we can't really affect the deed.
The appeal period hasn't finalized. So that night, there was another unit, 601, that was approved with no hours.
Yep.
So those decisions, I think, are good at I think the appeal period runs through the 27th,
We're
maybe?
17 days in.
Yeah, so 17 days in, so whatever, if it could be modified before it gets recorded is in the decision. If you modify that language, I'm not sure how that works.
I think that,
Yeah,
I think that if you're recording a document, it should be correct.
Right, so if they amend that, it could be recorded after.
I think that's fine, or have this discussion as the last page or this approval as the last page in the recorded document.
Okay,
Right.
so do you want, then you would come in and sign a new decision, and I'll have that the board met again and changed it, and that's what, and we'll file it with the town clerk, there'll be a new
Perfect.
20-day appeal
If
period.
you have two conflicting documents, that's an issue in my
Well,
mind.
if it's a minor modification, can't we just add the minor modification as to the old decision and just stick it
Like
as
an amendment?
I mean, it's no different than what you guys just approved now, that if somebody was
Yeah.
to pick up the phone
Yep.
and they call and say, hey, I looked at the registry and it doesn't show that that guy's allowed to have a roof on top of this impervious area. Why is that roof on there?
Yep.
You make a call to the town, so that argument on every minor modification, people could, it's just.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Well, that's why we
That's a good
limit
point.
minor modifications to really minor stuff.
But is
The
that
idea, the idea
But
being,
is that minor having a roof structure in the back of, if I live next door and I drive by one day and I see.
yeah, because it doesn't increase the footprint.
But it,
So that would
Yeah,
be,
well,
that's usually the standard for minor modifications to site plan approvals.
Yeah.
It's actually written.
In sight lines, if it's,
Yeah.
it was also in the middle of a site, it's a little different. I see, but I see your
but
point.
it's the same similarity.
I see your point. I see your point.
But I mean, up there, these units are 30 feet wide, and there's 11 of them in a building where everyone's there 24 hours a day. So all activities that are there,
Yeah, no, I understand.
basically, they're not allowed to, and no one's allowed to do anything outside other than enter and exit. There's no work outside, there's nothing like that.
Right.
So it's a different, if there's a complaint, I'm not so sure they're gonna call up and say, unit 607 is causing this unless there's gonna be a complaint from the
Right.
park.
So Craig, is your position that this, in addition to being at town hall, should also be recorded?
I have no position at all about any of that stuff. I'm only opining on the nature of the modification,
Yep.
that I don't believe it's minor.
Okay.
So it does become a town clerk nightmare if all of a sudden we bring a modification and the appeal period is 17 days in, what happens now? Does it start again? So I would suggest that we just put it in the file.
Okay.
Just put it in the file. It's because you did vote it a minor modification, they don't get recorded usually. So we just put this in the file.
All right. We will follow past practice. All right, we're good. Thank you.
No problem.
It's a learning experience too, isn't it, all this stuff?
Yes.
Town government. All right. All right, so I think we're back to 5 Riverview Ave. Is someone here for that? No?
No, and it's unfortunate because their special permit is about to expire. And I don't know if you feel like you can act on it without someone here. But they did write a letter explaining their reasons why.
So, and I read what they sent, and look, it's really tough to get materials right now for anything.
True.
Lumber, concrete, steel. I think that's what they're saying in their letter, is that, they have not been able to get materials and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Unless someone has an objection to that, I don't, how much,
They don't need to be here.
Though, right?
they don't need to be here for this. And how long were they looking for, another year?
They didn't say.
I would just do another 2-year period. I mean, all we're doing is extending the sunset provision, it's.
How about a motion?
I will make a motion to grant the extension to the special permit granted on September 22nd, 2019. They have a number on it. Oh, there it is. Permit number 19-1069 to extend for an additional 2-year period
Is that 2 years from
from this date,
From today.
today?
from today.
2 years from this date, so until September 23rd of 2023,
Got it.
right? We have a second.
I'll second it.
Ann seconds it. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
To what date? I'm sorry.
2 years from.
September
Today-
23rd,
yes.
2023.
Today's the 23rd.
To September 23rd of
23.
2023. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Items not reasonably anticipated. Does anyone have anything else they want to add? All right, the only thing I'll just bring up that we've been tabling the sidewalk discussion and the pedestrian plan and that sort of thing until I understand Chairman Cresta wants to gather all of the boards in town and have sort of a group discussion, so it seemed to make sense to wait until that happens before we act on anything on our end, so. With that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Bill, seconded by
Sure.
Ann. Sure.
One of the
All in
Ians.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned. Thank you.
Wow.